So, this is a nice size projector because it just about fills our board. And if you have a larger board in your classroom and you can make the projector project more space, you can use more space. Now, the way this bar works is this bump is infrared, and the silver on each end is ultrasound. So when you push the pen against the board, it's buzzing, it's transmitting. Can you do that? Yes. All right. So the bar is triangulating the position of the stylus or the pen so that it knows where you are on your computer. The other side of the bar is charging for the battery that's in the stylus. So this is a USB cable that's plugged into the black AC adapter plugged into the AC outlet. If you don't have an outlet handy, you can plug this cable into your computer, or if you don't want this cable at all, you can take it out and put 3 AAA batteries. The other part of installation is there is a white wireless hub that gets plugged into your computer. So this is how the bar talks to your computer, and then your computer is being projected onto your board. If you notice, well, I took it down so you couldn't see it. If this is not plugged into your computer, the light on your bar is orange. If the light is orange, it will not work. So if you're trying to make it work and you see it's orange, think, oh, I should go plug this into my computer. Then it will turn green and be ready to go. Okay, there's 2 physical requirements about your projected image. If you're pointing it at a board, the projected image must fit within the width of the board, because this bar is line of sight, so it can't see past this tray and it can't see over the top. The other physical requirement is the teacher must be tall enough to reach the top of the projected area if you're going to use all of your computer. I will be tiptoeing quite a bit. We're a classroom teacher, and this is my classroom. I would want my projector lowered a little bit so it's more comfortable, unless I just board my heels. Okay, because this is the working side of the bar, and this is the charging side of the bar must go on the left-hand side of your projected area. If you put it over here, why won't this work? Because it's looking this way. I cannot tell you even how many times I've driven to the school because it just won't work, and I walk in and go, oh. Okay, I saw McAllister's, let's go have lunch. My boss says that's a training issue. So ladies and gentlemen, which side of the board does the bar have to go on? Left. Exactly. Okay, can I have a volunteer, please? Come on, someone taller than me.
I'm already up.
There you go, you're tall.
I'm tall. I'm already up.
Okay, come on. So what she's going to do is calibrate. And that's telling the computer, here's where my projected area is. Anytime you move your bar, you'll have to recalibrate. It's the top button that looks like a bullseye on the bar. And then she's going to take the stylus that's stuck on the side, just now, and she's going to tap right in the middle of that X. And there will be 9 of them. And she's just going to chase them all the way around the board, and then there'll be one right in the center. So if you lock your bar up in your desk at night and put it back on your board in the morning, you'll have to calibrate every morning. If a student walks by and knocks it with their shoulder, makes it walk or jog, you'll have to recalibrate. And the more you do it, the quicker you'll get. One more. Thank you. Yay. Appreciate it. This is my contact information. Jot it down. Or if you don't want to, Lindsay has it. I just forgot your name.
D. Dwayne.
Dwayne, sorry. He has it. Support is free. Any kind of support. I can't get a green light. My pen won't seem to work. I can't find a lesson on quadratic equations. Whatever you need help with, I am a free resource. Okay, if I need to come by, I'll come by. This is my 3rd day in your district in the since last Friday. 8 days, 7 days. Most things we can handle over the phone or through email, but if I need to come by, I will. In addition to the school district, I also have 2 private schools here in town, a Catholic school and a Any questions? Okay. We're going to now talk about the software. We talked about the hardware. The installation is on the left-hand side of your projected area, in the center, not at the top. Don't measure, just eyeball it, put it in the middle, on the left, plug it in your hub. The software. At school, your tech people will have to download the software because it does require an administrator login on your computer. The software is free. That is handy for your school because they don't have to keep up with license codes and user codes and all that kind of stuff. If they need the software, they just go get it. It's handy for you because you can go home tonight and download the software. Okay, not tonight because we're not going to be done till 7, but this weekend if you want to. You can go to this website and download the software. You go to www.mimio.com, M-I-M-I-O, there are no E's in it, mimio.com. Once you get the website pulled up, click where it says support. The first choice will be downloads, and that's what you want is downloads. It will ask you first to select an operating system. Is it a Windows computer or a Mac or a Linux operating system? The next question is, what language do you want? English or the other 33? The next question is, the next page is fill in the blank. They want your name and your email address and all that. And then the last screen says, click here to start your download. It's just that easy. Now, at school, the first time the software launches, which will probably be done by a tech person, it comes with a pop-up saying, do you want to connect a device or other things? They'll connect your device and you're done. At home, when you get that pop-up, you won't have a teach bar at home to connect to, that's okay. But in that pop-up window in the lower left-hand corner, there's a checkbox that says continue with the free limited version. That's what you want. It will allow you to do everything you need to do to create or edit lessons. The things that it won't do are things you would need a projector for. And we'll kind of talk about those as we go. Any questions about downloading the software? When you download the software, these are the 3 icons that will appear on your desktop. Mimio Gradebook will not currently be used. This is only for use with Mimio Vote, which is their clicker system, or the Mimio mobile app, which is used on Android or Apple devices. Mimio Tools is simply a shortcut in case you lose your tools. There's an icon on your desktop. Mimio Studio Notebook. This is your workhorse program. This is what you're going to go into today. This is what I am in now. If you have not already opened it, I'd like for you to open it. But it looks like everybody. And I'm going to let him spy on the back couple of rows, and I'll spy on the first couple. So this is what we're in, is Mimio Studio Notebook. We've already talked about the bar and the hub and how to power it. Would you raise your hand if you have any interactive whiteboard experience? So most of you. Okay, then you're going to already know all this, so we'll just cover it quickly. Why have an interactive whiteboard? Documentation. Everything you or your students write on the board, you get to keep it. How do you keep a file? What's it called on a computer? Save, yes, exactly. I know, but really, I know my question is this can't be that easy. It's got to be a trick. You saved it. So file save as. You're going to save your work. Do any of your teachers, your general trainer types, your librarians or your math teachers, they teach the same thing more than once in a day? Mm-hmm. Okay, so without doing anything different about the way they prepare for class, they come in the first time that they teach that subject and they write on the board just like they always have. And then go file save. Save as, call it something. First the kids leave and come in. Now they're just going to page through it, like a PowerPoint. They're still teaching the same thing, but they're spending more time with eyes on students instead of facts and students. And they didn't have to prepare any differently. They don't have to go type it all up and make it nice and pretty the first time. They can if they want to, but they don't have to. You don't have to. Okay? Everyone can be on the computer at the same time. How often have you found something on the computer and you want all your kids to see? Well, you hate everybody just to get around your desk, all right? So now you can control your computer from the board. It's really easy to gather data from different sources and put it on the same page, the same board. And we're going to do that with the Mimio software here in a few minutes. The ability to share lessons from and with other teachers. That's the Mimio Connect teacher community, and we will talk about that this afternoon. And being able to manipulate things. Nothing about the Mimio software is hard.
Okay, training's important. I know. Probably everyone in this room could get the trainer's manual, could get the little reference sheets, and self-teach themselves. But it's quicker and easier if you have someone like me come in here and say, oh, well, if you want the pen, you click on the button that looks like a pen, and then it's a pen. Yeah, you could have figured that out. But don't you like me telling you that? Yeah, okay. Well, that's the way our afternoon is going to go. Okay, software. Mimeo files are .ink files. Like a Word file is .doc or Excel is .xls. Mimeo files are .ink. Always save your work as a .ink. File, save as. Every school is different. I don't know if you save on a hard drive, a C drive, an H drive, a USB drive, but wherever you save your stuff, you're probably going to want to create a Mimeo folder. You know, high school's easy. Every time the bell rings, you have a set of folders, first period, second period, third period. You elementary people, you're a little bit more fluid, but you have some schedule to your day. So make a plan so you regularly save your work. You always want to save it as an ink file so you can come back and convert handwriting to typed text and add multimedia and all that sort of thing. But you can also save any .ink file as a PDF file. So let's say you have an absent student. You can save that .ink file as a .pdf and email it to mom or dad or student and say, here's everything that was written on the board today, you missed it. And it has the homework assignment in it on page 2. You know, things that are interactive, that are hyperlinked or snow falling from the sky, you're not going to see those kinds of things. It will just be a static picture. But everything you wrote, everything that was typed, is going to be in the file. Okay, at the very top that you can't really see, it says Mimeo Studio Notebook, and then it has the line that says File Edit View. You have that on your computer, File Edit View. So knowing what you already know about PowerPoint, Word, Excel, what's going to be under the word File?
Save as.
Save as. What? Open, new, print, yes. Yes, same thing for Mimeo. When you click on that word, you will get that menu with all of those choices. All right? Click on the word View on your software. Now, View pertains to how things look. Purely personal preference. When you're in your classroom or you're training people for use in their classroom, they get to change these options to what they find comfortable. I want you to make 2 changes because I want to make 2 changes, and today I'm in charge.
Yeah.
Yay! Okay? So, click on View, and then click on Standard Toolbar. Now, Standard Toolbar is this one that's across the top. Your choices are off, don't, you need it, top, bottom, or float. Would you please pick bottom? So that moved the Standard Toolbar from up here to right here. Because I'm short and old and it's Friday and I get grouchy and my shoulder hurts, I like mine at the bottom. Okay? So if you want yours to look like mine for the rest of the afternoon, put yours on the bottom. Does anybody need help?
Yes, I need a flyer. Oh, I do too.
Oh, well, we ran out.
Oh.
But I'm going
My luck.
I'm going to send PDF files that they're going to put on the intranet so that everybody has access not only to that one but to all the flyers. Okay? It'll be okay. Click on View. Click on View again. When you open your software, your thumbnails by default are on the right. Under Tab View, your choices are off, left, and right. I prefer to have mine on the left. Any guesses why?
Because you're left-handed.
Because I'm left-handed. Now, I've seen left-handed people that prefer them on the right. That's their privilege. But I like mine on the left, so if you want yours to look like mine, put it on the left. Now, for what your teachers do, I would imagine most of the time they will want theirs off. For the age of people that they are teaching, they don't want their students trying to figure out what's coming next. Teachers may color code pop quizzes or games or what are the day or whatever. You know, for our best interest, we all want out of here on time. I don't want to skip anything, so this helps me stay on track. It helps. It doesn't prevent, but it helps me stay on track. So I'm going to leave them up. And I also want you to see how the pages are collected, just like in a PowerPoint plot. But I do recognize that for what your teachers do, they will probably want theirs off. You can turn them left, right, or off at any point of any day. The file will open back up the way it was saved. So if you had them off when you saved it and you open the file, they will still be off. Any questions about that? Okay, so now we are going to talk about the standard toolbar, which got moved down here to the bottom. I have a picture of the standard toolbar a little higher up in hopes that you can still see it. So these are picture commands. This first one is just a shortcut for file open. If you clicked on the word file and the word open, you would get the same window as if you clicked on this command button to go find a file that you want to open. What do you think this next button stands for?
Save.
Yes. Now be a little bit careful with that. It is save, which means it's going to save over the file you've opened. If you have created or downloaded a lesson off the teacher community for quadratic equations, and you worked it in class, and you hit that save button, you just saved over your master, right? Your original. So generally, if you open a file and then teach it, you're going to want to do file save as this was February the 20th, or this was state assessment standard number, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know how you're going to save your stuff, but you need a plan. It needs to be quick and easy, or you won't do it, and I get that. So come up with some naming system. Are you going to throw the date on the end, or a chapter number, or a page number, or how are you going to file your stuff? You can always change your mind tomorrow, but come up with a plan so it's quick and easy to save your stuff. So tomorrow you can pull that file back up and say, oh, here's your homework assignment, turn it in. And then you go on with your day, because you will never again have a student that says, oh, but that's not what you wrote on the board. It's what you wrote on the board. Okay. What do you think this button's going to mean? Print. At any point of your day, you hit that button. It's going to bring up your networked printers. You tell it which pages you want to print and how many copies, and print. These next buttons, that's the print button, are cut, copy, paste. Is everybody clear with the concept? Okay. The X is a delete. This curved arrow is your undo button. So it's right here. Well, it's right here. That's your safety net. You can always undo at least 7 steps. Sometimes more. Okay, I just have to stop for a second. You know, everybody has twins. And so if you find me staring at you, you're my college twin. You know, I'm in different schools every day, and I see different groups of people. And every day there's someone that, oh my God, you know, today it's you in the green sweater. Your name's Leslie, by the way. Okay, so undo is your safety net. You can always undo at least 7 steps, sometimes more. Just depends on what you've been doing. If you're about to do something that cannot be undone, it will tell you, hey, you're about to permanently delete this, are you sure? And then you get to decide whether you're sure or not. So undo and redo. The blank piece of paper with the plus sign, everybody click on that button. And what you should see in your thumbnails is that you are now on page 2 because you've created another page, another board, okay? Now you have a button that is not on my picture here, actually 2 buttons. Right next to new page is Activity Wizard. We're going to come back and talk about that later. And the Collaborate button is the one with the 3 people. That's only used with the Mimeo mobile app. Okay, the page backward and page forward buttons, that's just the way you navigate through your file. Does anybody know what the magnifying glasses represent? Zoom, that's right. So if you hit the zoom with the plus sign, that zooms in. And you've got scroll bars across the bottom and across the top. The one with the minus sign is zoom out. And the third one will take you back to your normal view. And whatever you annotate, even if you're zoomed in or out, in the normal view, it all stays to scale. So if you choose to print it, it's going to be fine. Okay, everybody push the very last button. That's the toggle back and forth to full screen. It got rid of that file edit view row, and it got rid of your thumbnails. And that's just a toggle back and forth. So if you click it again, you get those back. Okay, your tools. If you left click in that top margin, you can drag that toolbar to wherever you would like for it to sit. If you double click, left double click on the paintbrush, it will collapse it or close it. And that's just a toggle back and forth. Double click to close it, double click to bring it back. Okay, let's stop for just a second. Everybody put their hands off their mouse. I want to make sure we're all clear. We are all working in Mimeo Studio Notebook because that's what we're here to learn about. But once she calibrated for me, this stylus in my hand is simply my computer mouse. I can run any program that's on my computer. So if I want to open a PDF, if I want to open a PowerPoint, if I want to go to the internet, that's fine. I don't know if I'm really on the internet or not.
Yeah, you are.
I am? Okay.
Just pick a new page.
Okay, so this is just a mouse. I can open any file that I can run on my computer.
You have to have that. You can't use your finger.
That's right. Okay, you may now put your hands back on your mouse. And I have to say, very good at following directions. I haven't had a group be that, is obedient an okay word to use? In many months, I have to say, I'm very impressed. Thank you. Made me feel kind of good. Okay. As you push a button on your tools, notice that they light up. If you just left click on the pen and the highlighter and the eraser, you will see that it lights up. The software is very good about confirming back to you what it thinks you want to do. So you can just tell by glancing at it, oh, I'm already on eraser, or I'm on pen. The select button is used to select something that's already on the page. You never use select to add something new to the page. It would be one of these other buttons. But you use select if you want to move something or format something or delete something. Okay, remember a moment ago we talked about these zoom buttons, and they zoom in or zoom out in steps. You also have a fourth zoom button that is on your tools. This is a custom zoom. If you will click on that button and then left click and drag over any part of your page, although since your page is blank, it's probably not going to look very good, that will fill your page. And then you're back to a normal view with your crosshairs magnifying glass. Okay, let's actually add some content to our page so that it makes a little bit more sense. Click on the pen. Now, as soon as we clicked off of select and picked pen, we ended up with color. The big color box is your indicator. That's what you're about to write with. The smaller boxes are your choices. So again, that's the confirmation from the computer of, oh, you've picked yellow. Oh, you've picked green. Writing with a mouse is tough, okay? It is much easier for me to stand up here with this pen and write. But if you just hold your left mouse button down and drag a mark, you can see that you're writing with a pen. Now, notice that there is a tab in between the indicator box and the choices. This is your width tab. If you left click and drag that to the left, it will make your pen narrow. And if you drag it to the right, it will make it wide. So you get to pick what kind of width you want on your pen. Go ahead and click on the color palette button. That's the button that has multiple colors. That will give you more choices. If you still don't see the color choice that you want, click the button that says Define Custom Colors, and it will give you the rainbow. Are they all doing okay over there? Does anybody need help? Okay, the way the rainbow works is you click in the general area and then drag this triangle up or down to fine tune it. here's the color you're about to pick. So when you have it where you want it, add OK, and then that's the color you're writing with. Okay, everybody click on the custom zoom and drag your left mouse button over something that you drew with the pen, and I want you to zoom that so that it's full screen. Okay. And then go back to your normal view so that we're back to seeing our whole page. Okay, on the eraser. Now, these computers were all played with yesterday. But when you're in a classroom and the first time you click on eraser, it can be frustrating because it's a very narrow eraser. You really have to scrub it. If you'll drag that width tab over to the right, you can erase big. Okay? Okay, if your page is all full of ink, go to a new page. What we're going to do now is I'm going to ask you to write something with the pen. A 3-letter word or 1, 2, 3. It's hard to write with a mouse, I get that, but just write something because I want to show you how you can tell the computer to convert your handwriting to typed text. So you just need a letter or a number on your page. And then I'm going to tell you what to do. So grab your pen. It makes no difference. As a general rule, the computer will do a better job of cursive than print because sometimes when people print, they don't space evenly between their letters and it could put spaces in. Although teachers tend to have the best handwriting in the world, so I don't worry too much about it. Okay. We use these buttons, maybe I should say elementary teachers. We use these buttons to add data to the board. Once something is on the board, if you want to change it in any way, convert it to typed text, change the size, move it, hyperlink it, we have to select it first. So everybody needs to click on the select button. And I want you to select your handwriting. And the way you do that is just hold your left mouse button down and drag it over your handwriting. Now, look at this for a second. If I'm selecting this, I didn't go down far enough for my G. I can't grab this and encompass the G. It's just going to resize what I've selected. So I just have to start again. The pillow letters or pillow numbers, that's the confirmation from the computer that you have successfully selected that item. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So while you have this selected, go to the top and click where it says Tools. And then you're going to make the very first choice that says Recognize Text. And that will convert your handwriting to typed text.
I roared instead of carrying.
Now don't freak out if it didn't do it correctly, because really writing with the mouse is hard. You have much better handwriting
My
here
last
at the
name.
board. Now then, the computer does not know a good word from a bad word. So especially if you're elementary, there are some words that you should practice privately. Hello, duck, shirt, public, your name. I was in a training one time and a lady named Tanya wrote her name beautifully on the board and it came back with a very not pretty word. And it was spelled correctly too. If you will just go to your computer and double click inside the box and take out the mistake and type in what it should have been, it will learn to recognize your handwriting. If you do that for your numbers, by the third time it will know the way you write your numbers. You write 0 through 9. By the third time it will have it. Now, having said that, and most of you being training math people, it doesn't do math problems. It doesn't understand sub numbers and square root signs and parentheses and all that kind of thing. But numbers and dates, yes. Numbers and homework assignments. Read pages 10 through 54. Yes. Answer questions 10, 19, and 30. Yes, it will get those kinds of numbers, but it's not going to do fractions and that kind of thing. If you convert something in your class in front of students and it is not appropriate, Standing in front of it will simply put it on your back. The three quickest ways to get it off the board is either drag it over here to your trash can. I'm going to undo. Or I can just go to a new page, which gets the page off. Or if I had just converted it, I could say undo and it would send it back to my handwriting. But just, I don't want you to think standing in front of it's going to help, because it's not. Okay, I want you to stay on the page that has your typed text box on it. Okay? Please take your highlighter, and I want you to highlight some part of your typed text. I'm highlighting my vowel. Then I want you to grab your eraser, and I want you to erase. Because what I want you to see is that the eraser only works on handwriting. It doesn't take away your typed text. So this allows you to label all the parts that are in a sentence, or proofread a paragraph, or work out a math problem with a pen or a highlighter, be able to erase but not lose your lesson. So, if you can't erase this object, how do you get rid of it? What's the correct word? Delete. Yes. You erase handwriting, you delete objects. Push select. With your left mouse, I want you to click on your text box and drag it down here to the trash can. When you let go, it will be in the trash can. How do we get it back? We changed our mind. Undo. So undo, so you've got it back. This time, instead of dragging, I want you to just tap it. Because you're still on select, you have now selected this text box. The white circles indicate it's been selected. Now I have a red X. What does the red X mean?
I don't have that.
If it's selected, you should have it. So,
No, I got the
okay,
little
you're in
bar.
the editing box. Just click off of it.
Yeah.
Okay, click off the box. Okay, one click on it. And then X.
There we go.
Yeah,
Got
if
it.
you double click on a text box, you're going back into the editing part. And we're going to talk more about that later. Any questions about writing with the pen, writing with a highlighter, erasing your width choices or your color choices? Okay, if you're on a Mac, either in a classroom or at home, instead of the boxes for the color choices, you're going to get the color wheel. That's the only difference between the Mac and the Windows. Okay, let's go to a new page. The button on your tools that is next to the highlighter has, well, I'm not sure who set at your computer yesterday, so I can't tell you exactly what the picture on that button is. The default is that it's a rectangle or a square. Okay, this is a unique button. It is the only button on your tools that changes pictures. But it is a lines and shapes button, and the picture will show the last one of those you picked. The way you get the list is put your mouse over it and right click. I want you to pick lines. At the board, you just hold your mouse on it till you get the list and then click on lines. There are 4 lines to choose from. So pick a line, pick a color, pick a width, left click and drag. So pick a line, pick a color, pick a width. There is a button on your tools that's underneath the white and the yellow choices. That's your line attribute button. Your lines don't have to be solid. They can be dotted or dashed. So width, color, line attribute, and you can pick where you draw it on the page. If you will select one of your lines, you can change the width and the color and the length. So select and then just click on the line. It's selected when you have the white circles. So you can change the length, you can change where it is on the page, change the line style, the width, the color. I can change everything about this line except the fact that it has this arrow at the end. So if I didn't want an arrow, delete it and draw one without an arrow. Any questions about, okay, also, at the computer, if you hold your shift key down while you drag your mouse, it will make it level.
Straight.
It'll keep it straight. So if you're doing page dividers, if you hold your shift key down when you draw your line, it will keep it level. Yeah, I know, it is Friday afternoon and y'all are still happy to be here. Most of you. Thank you. It's really nice. Okay, let's go to a new page. And if you would please give me a moment to explain this to you, and then I'm going to let you do it, and he and I are going to walk around and see if anybody needs help. Now, when we are drawing with the pen or the highlighter or the lines, there is only one color box. As soon as we pick a shape out of the list, we have two. Because now we have an outline color and a fill color. So the way this works is you actually click on the outline box and pick a color, and the fill box and pick a color. The width tab will apply to your outline color, and so does your line attribute. So when I draw, I'm going to draw this shape, a right triangle, red outline, blue fill, and it draws on the diagonal. So if I just go straight up and down, it looks like it didn't do it. It's just that it drew it very narrowly. Okay, go. Right-click on your Lines and Shapes button and pick a shape. It's the one that looks like an arrow. It changes pictures. I know, that makes it tricky. Right-click on it and pick a shape. There you go. So that's the fill box.
I got so excited.
Okay, so right-click on that Lines and Shapes button and pick a shape off of the list. It looks like the line. Yes, right-click there.
Oh, so it's changing.
Right, yeah, whatever one you last drew. You okay? Yes. Anyone need help? Look at all these shapes. Okay, now would you please select a shape that you drew. So click the select button on your tools and then just tap, left click on one of your objects. You know it's selected when you have the white circles. That means you've done what I've asked you to do. Good job. While the item is selected, you may change all of your color choices and your width and your line attribute. If you drag the circles, you can resize it, including inverting it. If you just drag it over itself, and the green circle is always a rotate button.
You can make circles as a shift. And make circles.
Questions about shape? Okay, new page. Would you please right-click on your Lines and Shapes button and make the last choice? It says Shape Recognition. Shape recognition allows you to freehand an object, and as long as you don't pick up your pen and you close it, it will convert it as though you had drawn it with a shape tool. It will do oddball shapes, but it will not do hearts. So maybe you had a paragraph. Pretend these are words. And you wanted to underline or draw circles around objects. I'm going to pick the X, so there's no fill color. So I can freehand an underscore and draw squares around things, and it will convert it to make it look nice. So if you're left-handed like me and maybe don't have the greatest handwriting, everything just looks a lot better. Okay, are you still on a page that has shapes? Okay. I would like for you, please, to push the button on your tools that looks like a paint bucket. It's right above your indicator boxes. So click the paint bucket, pick a color, and then click inside one of your shapes. It's another way to change the color. So if I draw this triangle and decide I want to fill color, paint bucket, color, there it is. Now, be sure your paint bucket is lit. Click on it if you have to. Pick a different color and click on your page background, and it will fill the background of your page. Paint bucket, color, and click on your page. Everybody fill your backgrounds. I know you know how. Paint bucket, color, click on your page, anywhere on the white part, and it will fill it. Okay, go to a new page, please. And I would like for you to draw one small shape, any shape you want, a star, a triangle, I don't care. With your tools, I'm going to draw a 5-pointed star. It will work best if it has a fill color. So if you drew it without a fill color, use your paint bucket to fill it. Okay, if you don't remember anything else I say today, I want you to remember the sentence I'm about to say. All Mimeo formatting can be done with a right click. If you can grasp that, creating and editing lessons is all of a sudden a breeze. And when I say right click, I mean with your mouse, the right mouse button. If you're at the board and you need a format, you actually have a right mouse button. But you would usually be at a computer creating or editing lessons. So all of these commands that are on the board, you get to them with a right click. When I started with Mimeo in 2007, we had to know which of these commands lived under insert and which lived under format. It never made any sense to me. I never figured it out. And about 3 years ago, they said, okay, we give up. It's a right click. Yes. Makes my job a whole lot easier. Hey, how do you lock? Right click. How do you unlock? Right click. How do you clone? Right click. How do you set animation? Right click. How do you, whatever it is, it's a right click. Okay, so does everyone have a shape on their page? Does anyone need assistance getting a shape on their page? Put your mouse on top of your object and right click. What you will see is this list. Now, look where the word lock is about in the middle. Everything above that, I don't use. Click off of it so that the list goes away. Are you on select on your tools? Okay, that's where I want you to be. If you're not, click select. A single click on your object so that it is selected, just a left click. When it's selected, you have these buttons available. Copy is the one with 2 identical pieces of paper. That puts it on the clipboard, which is the paste button. Every time you hit paste, it's going to give you another one. Now, I could have right-clicked on it and hit copy, and then right-clicked on it and hit paste. But for me, that doesn't seem quick. Using these buttons to me seems quick. But if you have done right-click, copy, right-click, paste for the last 30 years, then that's what you should do.
Can you use keyboard shortcuts?
Control-C, Control-V also works. So however you like to copy-paste is how you should copy-paste. Control-C, Control-V, V, right-click, copy, right-click, paste, copy, paste, 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 paste. Okay? Everybody go to a new page, and I want you to hit paste, because that item is still in your clipboard, right? If it didn't paste for some reason, draw an object so you have it on your page. I want you to right-click on your object to go back to that formatting list. And would you please make the choice that says clone? It's third from the bottom. And when you make that option, you will see a blue border appear around your object. That means it's a flash item. It has either sound and or movement. So now when you click on that item with your left mouse down or at the board and drag, it's a well to draw from. So when would a teacher use this in the classroom? Money, multiplication, plotting, putting a plot on a graph, right? Pocket chart lessons. So what's the difference between cloning and copy-paste? Someone say it louder.
Well, with cloning, you're just getting it from one space instead of having to go. You can just drag it, slide it out.
Right. The biggest difference is copy-paste is a fixed number. You're going to run out. Cloning, you're not. So let's say you're teaching that there are 5 pennies and a nickel. Well, the first time you introduce that concept to students, perhaps you just copy and paste 7 or 8 or 9 pennies, so it can't get too bad. But after a week of that, maybe you just clone that penny and see how bad it can get. If you have time, you know, there will be times that you want copy-paste, that you want to control the students' responses. There'll be other times that you want to just right-click clone and you know you have enough, however many it takes. Perhaps you have statements on the board. You can put true and false, right-click clone on each of them. Students can get them all wrong. Or you can use copy-paste and only have the correct number of true and the correct number of false and make them puzzle fit them to the right location. So it depends on the goal, right? Sometimes cloning will be your options that's best, and sometimes copy-paste will be best. Any questions about cloning versus copy-paste? Okay, take one of your items, not the cloned one. Oh, I got to talk about this for a second. Anytime you have an object with a blue border around it, you can get rid of the blue border by locking it. How do you lock an object? Thank you. So right-click on the object and then make the choice lock. It gets rid of the blue border, but it still functions. It's still cloned.
I'll be doggone.
Now, you may need to be careful about this sometimes with students because this one looks an awful lot like this one. But this one's the well. This one's not going to give me more. So you might need an arrow pointing towards it or a different color background behind it or something to indicate to the student, here's where you're supposed to draw from. Boy, y'all are just clicking away. Okay, take one of your objects, not the cloned one, but the uncloned, and right-click on it. And this time, I want you to make the choice that is right below clone. It says hyperlink. It's going to bring up a pop-up window. Did everybody get the window? There are 3 ways to link an object. First off, you can link to a page in this file. So yours would be in your file, mine would be in my file. All of the game templates use this. So at MimioConnect, if you download the Jeopardy template, every rectangle is linked to a page that would have an answer on it, because that's the way you play the game. The Whack-A-Mole game, every mole would be linked to a page with a question on it. If you have a multiple choice question, here's my question, here's A, B, C. Each text box A, B, and C can be linked to a page that says either good job, go to the next page, or oops. You know what they chose, so maybe you give them a hint. You didn't look at the negative signs. You didn't carry your 1. You didn't, you know. Or just say, nope, go back, try again. But it controls navigation in this .inc file. Now, another option is you can hit the Browse button. You can hyperlink an object to any file on your computer network. I'm going to link mine to this video. So now when I click on it, it's going to open that file. You could link it to a PowerPoint, you could link it to a PDF, you could link it, you know, to any file that you can run on your computer, you can link to. The third option on hyperlinking is you can simply copy and paste a web address here. So if you're on Starfall letter G, go to Starfall letter G and then copy paste that 300 character URL right there. Say OK. When you click on that object, it will take you to that website as long as you're actually connected to the internet. Okay. Questions about hyperlinking? How do we get to this menu? Right click, that's right. Okay, I would like for you to take 2 of your objects and select them. You can just drag your mouse over the 2 objects, or if you wanted this object and this object, you could hold your shift key down click on this one, and click on this one. I'm not at a computer, so I'm just going to select those 3 objects. You know that each one's selected because of the circles, right? Okay. Put your mouse over one of them and right-click. Make the choice that says grouping and group. Bless you. So now you have one set of circles instead of 3. So when you resize them, you're resizing the entire set. And when you rotate, you're rotating the entire set. Now, can I ungroup these objects?
Yes.
With a right click. Yes, so right click, grouping, ungroup. So now they're back to being individual objects. Are you okay? Yeah. All right. Would you please right click, select one of your objects, and click where it says lock. Locking means you can no longer select it. You have set it as part of the background on the page. That will be common. If you have students coming to the board to do work, there will be parts of that page you don't want them to be able to move. It's either the question or an audio-visual aid or something that you don't want them to move. Now, when you download a lesson off of MimioConnect and something cannot be selected and you want to get rid of it, what do you need to know how to do? Unlock it, which you do by
Right, right.
yes. So if you will right-click anywhere on your page and hit unlock, then everything that's on that page that's locked is then unlocked. So you can manipulate it any way you want to, and if you want to lock things back, with a right-click.
You can't lock individual items, it's the whole page.
You can lock individual, but you have to unlock the whole page. Okay, let's go to a new page. Now I'm going to go back and look at my list here for a second. Okay. Okay, now we're going to type. So this is what's much easier at the computer, and you would never do it at the board. But I'm going to stand up here anyway because that's my job. So on your tools, hit the button that's the big T. That's your text box button. Once you have that button lit, simply hold your left mouse button down and drag so you have a box. It doesn't matter what size the box is. As long as you have the flashing cursor, then you're ready to go. You have an editing bar where you select font, size. Now, as a general rule, if you're using a projector, you do not want it smaller than a 28. And 28 is not very large. I'll show you what 28 is. So he's going to type for me so I don't have to walk over there. So as you can see, 28 is not very big. You really want to go as big as you have room on your page. So if we highlight it, we can change it to something larger. On your editing box, the last button is color. So if I wanted to highlight all the vowels in a different color, I can change them. Or if you were doing sentences and you wanted adverbs in a different color, predicates in a different color, words that you want to translate to Spanish, I don't. But you can use color. Every letter or number in the text box can be a separate color, a different color. Does everyone have at least one text box on their page? Okay. Please click off the box so that you don't have the editing bar. Now let me explain that. I'm on select. If I click it once, I've selected the text box. I can cut, copy, paste, delete. If I click inside the box, that's when I get my editing box back. So that's how I can highlight and change font and size and color and that kind of thing. So it's important to understand a single click versus a double click. Okay, would you please single click your text box? We don't want the editing bar, we just want it selected. When you are creating the text box, when you're typing it, the only color you can control is of the font. Once it exists, if you will select it, you then have these boxes available to you. Do you remember what these do? Outline and fill. So now I can pick outline and fill colors for my text box. I can also use the paint bucket button to change the fill color and to set a background color. So I would like for you to have a background color, an outline color, a fill color, and a font color. If I look at your screen, I'd like to see all of those colors. Use the paint bucket for your background. Use your outline and fill boxes off your tools for your text box. So you're on select. So paint bucket color and click somewhere on your background and that will fill your background. Paint bucket, color, background. So that's my background color. My outline is green, my fill is yellow, and then I have font colors. Who needs help?
I may need help with this.
Okay, hit the paint bucket.
I got the paint
Okay,
bucket.
and color, and now just click on the background of your page anywhere.
Okay,
Now that's your
okay,
box, but
okay.
if you pick on your page,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Got it. Okay.
you okay? Anybody need help? Yes, ma'am? How do you make one? Okay, go to select,
Okay.
double click inside the box, highlight it, and then this is your the last button. Okay, let's go to a new page. Good job, y'all. Okay, this is the last thing we're going to talk about before we take a quick break. .inc files. That's Mimeo Studio notebook files. You can insert or import files into Mimeo. Word files, PDF files, PowerPoint files, Smart files, exam view files, audio, video, and picture files. There are 3 ways to import files. I'm going to show you all 3 ways. You pick the one you like, forget the other 2. Okay? All right. There is a button on your tools next to the eraser. Okay, I love the button. I dislike the picture. They changed it maybe 2 years ago, and I started out calling it the landscape button, because to me that's what it looked like. It looks like grass and sky. I didn't know what else to call it. And I was in San Antonio at an authorized Mimeo trainers meeting, and I was complaining about the picture of the icon, and this lady from Idaho says, "Oh, I call it the window button, and I just tell my students when you want something that's not in Mimeo to bring it into Mimeo, you just go out the window." I said, well, in Idaho, maybe you go out the window, but in Oklahoma and Texas, where I work, we tend to go out the door. So why don't you make it a door, and then I'll be able to talk. So I don't know what to call the button, the window button or the landscape button. It's the button next door to the eraser, and that is your insert file button. So click on that button. It's going to give you 2 options. Make the first choice, which is insert file. So then you navigate to wherever your file is, your smart file, your PDF, your PowerPoint, all those things that I just said. I'm going to pull in this video file. I have now made this part of my .inc file. This is not a trick question. How do I tell this video to play? I push the play button, and the video will play. Now, I am in Mimeo Studio Notebook. 100% of the time, if you are in Mimeo and you want to write, you grab your pen and write. And in the case of a video, you don't even have to pause that video if you don't want to. Now, it could look a little bit weird, but if you tap the video at the bottom, a pause or stop button will appear. If you insert a PDF, a PowerPoint, a smart file, those are going to be a 1-to-1 page ratio. If it's a 30-page PDF, it's going to add 30 pages to your Mimeo file. If it's a 10-page PowerPoint, it's going to add 10 pages to your Mimeo file. That is option 1. So how did we get there?
The button next door
Yes, you're all right. It's the landscape button, the window button, or the one next door to the eraser, what you want to call it. Okay, another option is you can drag and drop. So if you're tall enough to reach the top of your computer, and you have a file like on your desktop, you can literally drag and drop. I've now inserted that file into the computer. That's my parents' grandchildren. And then the third way is if you click on Insert and then Insert File, it brings up the same navigation window as the first option. So does that seem doable? Okay, I'm going to insert Okay, here is a PDF file. It's only a 2-page file, so it's not going to take very long to insert into Mimeo. Now notice, it put the whole page on my board. So if we're talking about a release standardized test or something, it's too small. How do I make it so we can read it? Zoom. Now I can read it. Can I write on it? Yes, thank you. Can I highlight on it? Can I draw on it? Now, if you're wanting to annotate and you're using a shape, be sure that your fill box is the X, which means no color. Don't pick white. Be sure it's the X. Otherwise, you will cover it up instead of outlining it. Right? Okay, and when we go back to our normal view, it's all going to stay to scale. And then we can pick another. So if you're doing multiple choice questions down a PDF, you can do those one at a time. Okay, it's been an hour. Let's take a 10-minute break, and then we'll pick up where we left off.